road investment has become the subject of a Facebook debate between Prime Minister Edi Rama and opposition leader Lulzim Basha. The head of government has shared on social media the prospects of investments in the Burel-Klos road. According to him, no intervention has been made for this access in the past 30 years, and the heavy burden it bears must now be relieved. The head of the opposition reacted to the news, choosing also to make his declarations via social networks. Instead of building infrastructure, roads, ports, power lines, Edi Rama is stealing Albanians' money by pretending to construct roads. In the poorest country in Europe, 1 kilometre of road costs 10 times more than the richest countries in the world, more expensive than in America, Germany or Switzerland, said Basha, posting a video on Facebook. Through the video, he expressed that the axis of Thuman-Kashar is 20.8 kilometres long, and yet €333 million has been allocated for its construction. This suggests that the cost per kilometre is 10 times higher in Albania than compared to the European average. According to Basha, the real value of the projects amounts to 80 million euro, accusing them of stealing 253 million euro. The road concessions are expected to be the subject of clashes in Parliament in September when President Ilir Meta demanded a revision of the law on unsolicited contracts. Despite President Ilir Meta's salary being higher than that of his wife, Monica Kuramadi has coughed up more money towards the family budget. From apartments to bank accounts, monthly salaries and rent profits over the past year, the head of the SMI has added about €270,000 to their family portfolio, 8 times more than President Ilir Meta, who managed only about €39,000. Entering into contracts and selling apartments are the two main sources that help to contribute to Monica Kuramadi's budget. On the other hand, the financial sources of the head of state come only from his salary and duties as former head of the High Council of Justice, worth €39,000. Similar to Meta, Lulzim Basha earns less than his wife. The opposition boycott in Parliament has resulted in a reduction to the DP leader's salary by half. €15,000 he earned during 2018, while his wife earned €55,000. Bank accounts and salaries as a deputy have paid former Prime Minister Sali Berisha €21,000 over the past year, while his wife has earned less with about €6,000. July saw Albanians being required to dig deeper into their pockets to buy everyday products. Instat data shows that the subgroup of fruits and vegetables has undergone the largest price hike, although it is now the peak of agricultural production in the country. The annual growth rate in July was influenced mostly from prices of the category food and non-alcoholic beverages, up 1.07 percentage points, followed by housing, water, electricity and other fuel up by 0.16 percentage points. Prices of furniture, household goods and maintenance rose by 0.08 percentage points, and alcoholic beverages and tobacco, as well as hotels, cafes and restaurants, by 0.04 percentage points each. Meanwhile, domestic consumption remains weak as inflation in July rose 1.5% from 2.3% a year earlier. Meanwhile, citizens complained that they find it difficult to make a living. Official data shows that Albanians spend 44.1% of their income just on food. Eurostat reports estimate that Albanian citizens remain one of the poorest populations in Europe and the Balkans, with income levels estimated at just 31% of the EU average. Albanian and Kosovar police will amp up patrols along the coast where traffic is becoming more problematic. From this week, heavy vehicles will be prohibited from travelling along the Thuman-Fushkruya highway or coastal roads between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. Road Police Director Mithat Tola announced during communications with journalists in Shenzhen that this is the only solution to avoiding long traffic delays for citizens. All trucks over 7.5 tonnes will not be allowed to travel these zones at these times to allow drivers of small vehicles and those travelling towards tourist areas, such as towards Shkodra, returning from Shkodra to Tirana, to pass the road more easily. Other measures will be followed in the coming days. Lieutenant Colonel Rjeton Redzepi emphasised that the Kosovar police are continuing to support the Albanian police in the supervision of road traffic. For over 10 years, the Albanian and Kosovar police forces have been cooperating throughout the touristic seasons, as our country is one of the favourite destinations for Kosovar citizens. At the peak of the tourist season, the number of citizens applying for passports and ID cards has also increased. The situation is problematic in some cities in the country, where citizens are required to wait in line from the early hours of the morning. In Jurakastra, there are about 130 applications per day, while all this flow is supported by only 2 customer service agents. According to the application office manager, Mercedes Zarba, the cause of this influx is the return of migrants. Meanwhile, in Elbasan, about 25,000 applications for ID cards and biometric passports were made during just the first 6 months of 2019. The director of the civil registry in Elbasan, Behar Tashi, says that they are currently facing an increase, with the number of applications at the offices reaching up to 250 per day. The situation was also problematic in Kukas, where citizens expressed concern over the long queues and poor conditions under which they were forced to wait as they applied for ID cards and passports. Outgoing Kosovo Prime Minister Ramush Haradinaj said he did not face any specific charges at The Hague, adding that he has neither been informed of any new charges against him. Haradinaj made these statements for the German newspaper Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. I have been invited and fulfilled my obligation to appear. Everything else depends on the court's assessment, said Haradinaj. Asked about voices who see the Hague Tribunal as a tool to discipline Kosovo politicians who disobey the West, Ramush Haradinaj said that he was surprised when receiving summons by the Specialist Prosecutor's Office, considering that he was accused twice by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia and acquitted of all charges. It is no secret that I have rejected the possibility of a change to borders, a project which is supported by a part of the international community. I believe such action to be highly dangerous, Haradinaj said, adding that the 100% tax introduced by his government against Serbian goods will remain in force until Serbia recognises Kosovo's independence. When reminded by FAZ that his stance on the tax caused him to lose support from Washington, Haradinaj said that he was aware of the potential consequences, but added that he was honest with international partners in Washington and Europe when he told them that redrawing borders threatened stability in Kosovo and the region. Asked by the newspaper about the possibility of witnesses being threatened by him or upon his orders, Haradinaj said that he had publicly called for the protection of all witnesses. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of rtvora, thank you and good night.